I will be ranking the Despicable Me franchise, as you read by the title, because I'm a yapper and I ain't got nothing better to do. So, first off, I want to start off with, I love these movies with all my heart. Well, not all of them, but I'm a spoiler for you. So there's 2 movies that I hate, 2 movies that are good, and then 2 movies that are peak. So, that's gonna be fun to think about. So, without further ado, let's get straight to it. So, at the bare bottom of this list, I have Despicable Me 4. Despicable Me 4, in my opinion, was the perfect example of what not to do in a movie. First of all, you do not take your main character and turn him into a bitch for the movie, because that is exactly what they did. Because why is the same person that was freezing people in a store to get a goddamn coffee the same person who was cowering and squirming around when someone tries to fight him? This is the same person who fought a big, giant-ass purple monster and only used a freeze gun. So why is he not doing anything? I understand he doesn't have his gadgets or anything, but like still, like him just cowering everywhere kind of like pissed me off. Like really, he's not gonna have nothing in his shit at all. So as I was editing the clips for this video, I realized that the reason why Gru didn't have any of his gadgets was because he was still in his golf outfit because of that damn fucking golf tournament. Not golf, fucking tennis. It was a fucking tennis tournament. But yeah, back to it. Subscribe. Also, his voice was annoying too. His voice just, it didn't even sound like Steve Carell was trying with this. It just sounded like he was imitating his Gru voice in a way, or like almost making a joke out of it. The villain annoyed me. The roach thing was not funny. The accent, I hated the accent. I could not stand the accent. I wish Will Ferrell would have just done his regular voice. That would have been infinitely better. I thought the backstory of why they hated each other was stupid. I was thinking that it was gonna be like a former partner in crime or something that he like switched up on or something. Also, the fact that Gru had a standing ovation from people when he was singing that song doesn't make any sense to me, because this is the same person who tried asking out a girl and the whole playground ran away because she was saying that she got Grudies. So I don't believe it in the absolute slightest. The minions low-key don't really add anything to the movie. I mean, the super minions, I was obviously made to sell toys. Like, that's fucking obvious as hell. But it just didn't add anything. It wasn't really funny. It was just kind of dumb, I guess. But yeah, this movie low-key was the definition of a cash grab, and you can definitely tell. Alright, so number 6 on the list, we have Minions Rise of Mid. When I walked out of this movie, the first thing that I thought of in my head was, maybe I just don't like the Minions anymore. I'm genuinely convinced that Minions Rise of Gru was Elimination's test to see how much money they could make if they just put Minions on a poster. I'm not even like trying to be funny. I'm genuinely serious. This movie genuinely feels like a fever dream. Like, if you were to tell me an AI wrote this fucking script, I would honestly fucking believe you. Now, I will say this. I do like how Gru had a role model of some sort. I thought that was cool. I thought Nefario's introduction was cool. I kind of liked how it was like simple in a way. I thought that was kind of cool. I like how at the end it kind of showed us like his car and how he got that and stuff like that. But unfortunately, that was maybe 20 seconds of me spewing good stuff about the movie, and that's the only good about this movie. The kung fu thing was just fucking stupid. The animal thing, it was funny, but it wasn't like all that. The Vicious Six was not like, I didn't care. Like, when I was watching this movie, I didn't really like care at all. And like this suffers the same thing that Despicable Me 4 does, where it just seems like the main characters are supposed to be the minions, and they're the most annoying part of the movie. So yeah, Minions Rise of Mid, I genuinely do feel like was a test from Illumination to see how much money they could make if they just put minions on the poster. But yeah, that movie sucked, bro. Like, I don't have anything else to say. This movie had me worried about Despicable Me 4, and honestly, it served right, because that movie was, yeah, I mean, you already fucking know. All right, so now we got the bad ones out of the way. Let's talk about the good ones. Now, this one I think is heavily underrated and underappreciated because of how good the first two is. But at number 4, I believe this is, I will put Despicable Me 3. Now, I will defend this movie with my damn life for one specific reason. Balthazar goddamn Brat. Balthazar Brat is the pure definition of a peak villain. I think that Balthazar Brat is one of the funniest villains ever to be animated, because Balthazar Brat's sure purpose for being created was not to be a villain and not to be intimidating. He was made to be a dick and to piss off Gru, and they did that perfectly. My opinion, the funniest scene in that movie was when they were walking to the AVL blimp and Gru cannot keep this man's name out of his mouth. He went on a whole damn tangent talking about he want to moonwalk on his goddamn face because he pisses him off so much. And over when he was raising up to the blimp, he was throwing cats off fucking couches, being like, and another thing.
I don't even want to waste another breath about the guy. And another thing.
And I love the fact that Balthazar Brat does not take himself seriously in the absolute fucking slightest, which is why I love this damn villain so much. Honestly, I personally would put Balthazar Brat over Vector if I was ranking villains. Like, I think Balthazar Brat is funnier than Vector. Balthazar Brat was goated, and I personally think he low-key carried this movie. Now, I will say this about Despicable Me 3. It is not a perfect movie. I do not like the unicorn subplot. I think the unicorn subplot definitely kills it a little bit and slows it down. The cheese thing was...
like me.
It wasn't entertaining to me. Like, it wasn't my favorite thing. It was good. It just wasn't my favorite, but it was funny, and I think it lasted the perfect amount. I liked how it only really gave that, like, storyline, like, a little bit of attention instead of being, like, a big thing. Kind of like what they did with Despicable Me 4. I love the brother dynamic. I love that the Minions in jail thing. I thought that was also pretty funny. The American Idol thing where they get arrested, that was that was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't have too many negative things to say about this movie. It obviously isn't as good as the first two, but I think as a third movie, I think it is pretty decent, and I think this movie is definitely overhated because of how good the first two are. But yeah, if you have not seen this movie in a while, check this out, because I've even told people after I tell people my Balthazar Brat take, people watch the third one again and they fucking love it. So yeah, let me know what y'all think. Balthazar Brat is goated, bruh. Like, as soon as he came out that boat and started playing Michael Jackson, I knew he was gonna be on some demon shit, bruh. Like, this man is the Sombra of fucking Despicable Me. Oh, enough of Despicable Me 3. Let's get to our number 3 spot, which is Minions. Now, Minions is one of those movies where I don't have anything bad to say about the movie, but there's nothing outstandingly good about the movie that I could say. I think that this movie did a spin-off to characters that do not speak English perfectly. I love the fact that they're just minions that were just made since the beginning of time, instead of just them being like Gru's inventions like everyone assumed. I like Scarlet Overkill. I thought she was an amazing villain. You know, you can't forget my boy Herb. You know, Herb carried the fucking movie for keeping it a buck. Bob was cool, Stuart was cool, Kevin was goated, the end scene, the final battle, that was pretty cool. I think that is probably one of the best, if not the coolest final fight in the franchise. The only thing I'll put it up is the number 1 spot, which I'll save for obviously the number 1 spot. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I can't really complain too much about the movie. Yeah, I think it's great, and I just think it's a little bit better than Despicable Me because I can't really think of anything bad off the top of my head. All right, so there's 2 movies I haven't talked about yet, and there's 2 spots left. I know y'all getting a little worried right now, and worried right you should be, because at the number 2 spot, I'm gonna put the first Despicable Me movie. Now, I understand why. If this is your number 1 spot, I understand. I will reason with you. If Despicable Me 4 is your number 1 spot, then you need to you're like 3 years old. But yeah, Despicable Me is a classic. You know, it started off the franchise, it grew, and everybody, you know, the characters you know and love. That was a Kamala-esque fucking response, but you get my point. Like, it's what started it all. Vector was goated, the storyline was goated, everything was cool. So like I said, I don't have anything good to say about it, like anything great to say about this movie, unless it's like, it's what started off the franchise and it's goated. And I really don't have anything to say bad about this movie either. I think this movie is a little bit lower on my list because I've seen this one so many times, and I haven't seen this next one as much, but I know that I love it every time I rewatch it. But coming in at the #1 spot, we have Despicable Me 2, the best Despicable Me movie in the entire franchise, and honestly one of my favorite animated movies of all time. I'm talking so damn fast because this movie is so goddamn peak, and it makes me so goddamn happy just thinking about it. This Despicable Me 2, my opinion, Despicable Me 2 is how sequels should be done. Takes everything great from the first movie and makes it better in this one. The Purple Minions is great. El Macho, I love how El Macho is an actual serious villain. I like the twist that Nefario was working with him the entire time. I love how they finally just played around with Gru's character and gave him a love interest. And my favorite part about this movie is Gru, which is why I do not like Despicable Me 4 or 3 that much. One of my problems with 3 is that Despicable Me 2 perfectly capitalizes Gru's two sides of him wanting to like quit being a villain and become a good dad versus that villainous side that's still inside him. And I think Despicable Me 2 does that and shows that perfectly, which is what the third and the fourth one kind of lack in a way. Which the third one, it makes more sense that he's more of a good guy than like a villain. But in the fourth one, he's like all good guy and no villain. And that kind of bothers me a little bit. I mean, you could say he's a villain when he breaks into the damn school or whatever, but he's not doing it out of vicious intent. He's doing it out of blackmail. And I think that Despicable Me 2, the fight scene, the end scene in Despicable Me 2, I think that is the best fight scene in the franchise. The only thing that even comes close to it, in my personal opinion, is the Minions final battle. I love Margot and that one dude that she's crushing on, and the fact that Gru hates him. I don't care what anyone says, the funniest scene in that movie is when him and Margot were dancing and then Gru tried to come in and he kicks him in the back. That is the best part about that movie. But yeah, Despicable Me 2 is just great. And if you don't like it, then, you know, that's completely fine. I'm just going to assume that you're just a retard. But, you know, it's all good because all opinions exist. Yes, that is my ranking for the Despicable Me franchise. If this is not the first one to come out, the next one I'm doing, I believe, is Venom, because I just saw Venom. So I will be doing the Venom trilogy, and then next week on Monday, I will be, or like every Monday, you'll see a new trilogy that I do, like Venom, and then I'm planning to do Terrifier, and then Dark Knight, Fast and Furious, you know. So if you want to see any more, let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree with my list or if I'm full of shit. I posted a TikTok similar to this, and everyone said my list was right. The only thing that people wanted switched was the first and the second one, which, like I said, I would 100% get. But everything else was solid. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you like this video, you already know what to do. I don't need to tell you. You got fucking Logan Paul to do that for you. But yeah, bye.